That dark thought was the red flag on the play that something is happening here. Okay, this is not normal. We need to do something about this. We need to get ourselves out of this hellhole that we're in. This is my year. I had so many goals, so many things that I wanted to achieve. I was in toxic productivity mode. Your body's trying to tell you that something is wrong here. Okay, we need to slow down. We need to switch it up. We need to do something to fix this. Hello, please. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about how to avoid burnout so you can consistently live a successful life. If you constantly feel behind in life, if you struggle to be consistent, if you struggle to achieve any of your goals, then chances are you are in a never-ending cycle of burnout where you spend more time in planning mode than you need to, and then you move on to toxic productivity where you're overworking, you're not looking after yourself, and you have little to no progress to show for it, which leads you to being burnt out, being miserable, and then you quit where you spend more time not doing anything to achieve your goals than you actually do trying to achieve your goals. And then you go through the whole cycle over and over again. Burnout has some very loud and unmistakable signs like exhaustion, but I want to draw more attention to the more discreet ones, like the ones I personally experienced in the middle of the year, the ones that might seem harmless or even normal until they start adding up, because until you become awakened to what triggers your burnout, you're not going to be able to identify it quicker and then be able to avoid it. And I also want to provide a prescription for burnout, so that's practical ways to avoid it, to create soft discipline so you can achieve your goals whilst looking after yourself. But if you are new, hello, welcome. My name is Lorraine and my channel is Lori Lux, and I like to call myself your self-care soul sister. So subscribe to the channel, sis. I am trying to grow the channel. Thank you to everyone who has been subscribing. I see you, I appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe and join our soft living space. Like this video to let me and YouTube know that you're loving the topic already, and let's get straight into it. So what is burnout? Put simply, burnout is an emotional and physical response to stress. If anyone is or has been stressed before, put your hands up in the comments. A physical response can range from being tired to being exhausted and also being physically unwell, because you can actually become ill and unwell from being burnout. And then the emotional response can also range from being irritable, being sad, being down, being angry, to actually feeling depressed and not being able to get out of bed because you're emotionally drained from the burnout. Now, according to research, you guys know I love a bit of research over here, women actually experience more burnout than men. Now, I could be biased as to the reason why I feel like this is, but I feel like the roles and dynamic between men and women has changed or become blurred a lot recently compared to the traditional roles of men being breadwinners and women staying home looking after the household and the children, right? Because of, I don't know, societal pressures and cost of living, women have had to take on more roles in the household and in society with, you know, having a career, having a job, on top of being caregivers, on top of, you know, looking after the household, you know. And don't even get me started on looking after yourself, maintaining your figure and your appearance, and, you know, having healthy habits, having a social life, all these things that we have to juggle. So no wonder why we're going to be more prone to burnout. That's just my unbiased opinion. Leave in the comments down below what you feel that reason might be. So I experienced burnout at its worst in the middle of the year. I would say between April and July, and actually go backwards a bit. When I started off 2023, like we all do, I was really motivated, really encouraged, and I thought, you know what, this is my year. I had so many goals, so many things that I wanted to achieve, that for the first 2 to 3 months I was in toxic productivity mode. Okay, I was overworking and putting so much on my plate. Bearing in mind, I had little time. I am a single mother, and at the time, my daughter was not in nursery, okay? So I had little time to do all these things that I wanted to do, okay? I had been over ambitious, and that's not something new to me anyway, because I tend to be a bit of a high achiever. So I had like 3 months of just overworking and not looking after myself and not resting. And then it got to like April when I actually launched one of my programs, and I felt like I had again achieved this huge thing, right? And after that, I just deflated. I was exhausted, I was tired. I was just doing the bare minimum to survive. So uploading my weekly YouTube videos, cleaning the house and looking after my baby, anything else, was above me at that point, okay? I just couldn't, even though for the life of me, I wanted to achieve more. I knew that I had a lot more things that I wanted to achieve. And bearing in mind, I didn't actually achieve a lot in the time that I was overworking, right? Funnily enough, because it's toxic productivity. I didn't have any sustainable habits. I was just thinking about the short term. Let me go. I wasn't looking after myself, and I didn't have that healthy discipline. So fast forward to like May, June, where I was like in the trenches of my burnout, and there were these subtle and discreet signs of burnout that I didn't even realize at the time, but upon reflecting, I was like, oh, okay, those were actually signs of me being burnt out. And if I was able to identify them sooner, then I would have been able to do something about them. Anyway, so the first sign was that I was unable to switch off. From the moment that I opened my eyes in the morning to the moment that I put my head on the pillow to sleep, my mind was constantly racing. I was constantly thinking about all the things that I wanted to do, all the things that I wanted to achieve, all the things that I wasn't doing, feeling guilty, and it was just a vicious cycle over and over and over and over and over again. And then the second sign is that I was having constant headaches. I mean, if I was having the headaches now, I might be able to understand, because I have days where I'm fasting, and when I'm hungry, sometimes I might have a little bit of a headache, but I wasn't even fasting at this time. And when I tell you, it was a constant headache. And I know one of the reasons is because obviously I was constantly thinking, my mind was racing. No wonder I'm going to have a headache, right? But also the headache was a physical response of the stress, of the burnout, right? Because your body is responding to what you're feeling and what you're going through right now. Your body's trying to tell you that something is wrong here, okay? We need to slow down, we need to switch it up, we need to do something to fix this. But again, if you're not privy to actually identify those signs, you just think that it's a headache. I don't even know why I'm having this headache. The other sign was insomnia, where I just could not sleep. Now imagine being tired, constantly tired and exhausted, but you can't sleep. You go to bed, but you can't sleep. You're just awake, tossing and turning, staring at the ceiling well, on your phone, scrolling, trying to fall asleep. I literally went a couple of months struggling to sleep. And if you know me, you know I love my sleep, especially with a toddler. You need to be well rested, okay? Because I be running after her all day, okay? So I be doing that during the day and I'm not able to sleep. Again, it makes sense if my mind was racing, right? Then I'm not going to be able to sleep because I'm unable to switch off. Because my mind can't switch off, now my body can't switch off. Our mind and our bodies are heavily connected. So that's why looking after your mind and your mental health is one of the most important things, because it affects every aspect of your life. If your mental health is not right, your physical health is not going to be right. You're not going to be in the best place to work, to look after your children, to pay your bills. It is literally a snowball effect. And then the other side might be a bit much for the girls, okay? But I would fantasize about becoming unwell, right? Now hear me out. Bearing in mind, I'm burnt out, but I still have responsibilities. I still have a household to look after. I still have bills to pay. I still have a daughter that I have to look after, right? So I would have times where I would just fantasize about becoming unwell, not life-threatening, but being unwell enough that I can't do the things that I have to do or look after my child, just so I could get a rest. So someone can just step in, look after my daughter, then look after all my responsibilities. I mean, when you get to a point when you're fantasizing about becoming unwell, that's when you know, Houston, we've got a problem. So I was like, Lorette, what is going on here? Why are you even having these dark thoughts? Why would you want to become unwell? There's people who are involuntarily unwell, who are praying for good health. It was just so ungrateful. And that dark thought was the red flag on the play that something is happening here. Okay, this is not normal. We need to do something about this. We need to get ourselves out of this hellhole that we're in. And that's also the time where I received a letter from my past self, right? I wrote myself a letter in January, writing down my goals, everything that I wanted to achieve for 2023, but not just writing it down as though I already achieved it, how I feel about it, and how happy I am time that I've achieved it. So imagine then receiving this letter when 1, you haven't achieved these goals, 2, you are burnt out, you are tired, you're exhausted, and you're just having all these dark thoughts in your mind. It was a time. So the natural instinct would have been to go back on that vicious cycle of burnout, right, and starting back that toxic productivity. But because of this final red flag on the play of fantasizing about becoming unwell, I was realizing that, okay, I am in a vicious cycle. I'm not just talking about this year. This has been ongoing for years, for a long time, and I need to do something about it, okay? I want to start being productive again and start being disciplined. But how can I do that when I'm not burning myself out, when I'm actually looking after myself and enjoying the process of achieving my goals? So this takes us to the practical things that I had been doing and I'm still doing to avoid burnout and also create that soft discipline. The first thing that I did was to allow myself to either underperform or overperform, because I am a notorious micromanager. I am a perfectionist, okay? Healing perfectionist, okay? Because I wanted things to be done a certain way. Things have to be structured. Things have to be organized. And if things weren't done that way, okay, it got me really stressed. I had to start all over again. And I'm sure you've all had that one manager, right, who used to micromanage you, literally standing over your shoulder, watching everything that you're doing, couldn't just let you get on with it, had something to say about anything, right? How did that make you feel? It made you feel stressed. It made you feel undervalued, underappreciated, like you were incompetent, like you couldn't just get on with it, right? That's the same thing that you are doing to yourself by micromanaging yourself, right? You are constantly stressing yourself. You're constantly making yourself feel like you're incompetent, like you're not valuable, that you're unable to follow through and actually achieve this goal, right? It's okay if you don't do everything on your to-do list. Like if you only do 1 or 2 things, that is okay. You should still celebrate yourself because you have accomplished something, you have done something. Or you might have times where you're more motivated than usual, you're really energetic. In these cases, it's okay for you to overperform, okay? But not to take that overperformance every single day, because there's going to be days where you're not feeling up to it. Each day is different and you need to treat it differently. Focus more on the progress that you've made, on how far you've come, on actually being able to do the task. Less more on the results, because that's where this toxic productivity comes out, that I must achieve this in 3 months or in 6 months. And then if you don't achieve it, you're now looking inward like there's something wrong with you, and then you're punishing yourself and then going into that burnout cycle again. The next thing I have been doing is leaving room for external factors. So one of my goals for Q4 was losing weight, obviously, and I have been fasting 3 days in the week and also doing keto and then also doing a dance challenge. But literally at the beginning of October, I became unwell, right? I had this bug, like something was going round. Bearing in mind, I'd literally just had a cold like a week prior, but this bug took me out, where I literally couldn't even look after my daughter. Her dad had to come and get her for like a day or 2. I was out for the count, okay? So initially I actually planned to continue fasting even though I wasn't well, because fasting actually helps you to heal and to like get rid of stuff, but I just couldn't, okay? I knew that I needed my comfort food, and at the same time, it was my time of the month. So it was like a double whammy. And that's when I thought, you know what, it's okay, right? I'm just gonna give myself this time. Hopefully, I'm gonna be better next week or the next week, and then I'll actually start. But my previous self would not have seen me being unwell as an external factor, okay? All I would have been thinking about was the fact that I couldn't fast, I didn't do keto because I was eating all the carbs, okay? And I didn't do the dance challenge, okay? And then I'd be like, oh, I'm a failure, you know, I'm never gonna reach my goal, I'm never gonna lose weight. But I was able to give myself that grace, to give myself that time. It's not the end of the world, okay? Even if I don't lose these 3-4 pounds in this next couple of weeks, I will eventually lose them when I feel better and actually start working on my weight loss. So remembering that you could do all the planning in the world, but there's always going to be external factors, things that you can't plan for that are going to happen, which might prevent you from doing what you need to do to achieve your goal or delay you from actually doing what you need to do. The other thing that I have been doing to avoid burnout is actually a part of having an abundance mindset, and that's always thinking like a beginner. I used to always compare myself to these huge content creators who had thousands and thousands of subscribers, right? That if we were to do a similar topic video, right, they will get hundreds and hundreds and thousands of views, and I probably would get maybe 1,000 views if I'm lucky. And I'll be thinking, but why am I only getting 1,000 views where we literally just done the same video? And I would also feel like I actually brought a different perspective to this topic from my own personal experience, and then also from my clinical experience. Like, why is this not resonating with people? Like, why am I not getting the same amount of views? But that's because I was thinking like an expert, like somebody who's already made it. Firstly, they're gonna get more views because they have more subscribers. They already have that reach on YouTube already, okay? They have that brand, they're well known, and people already see them as an expert in this field. And even if that's not the case, right, it's actually somebody with less subscribers than me, it's always important to think like a beginner. How can I improve? Where did I go wrong? What can I do better? Actually learning from these experts, people who already have these big subscribers, right? Or maybe for somebody who literally has less subscribers than me, but is getting a lot more views, what are they doing that people are connecting with more, right? And not just making it about myself and being entitled that just because we're creating the same kind of topic, just because I have my own personal experience or maybe a clinical experience, it doesn't mean that I'm going to be automatically entitled to this huge viewership, right? But how can I improve? How can I become the best editor? How can I become the best storyteller? How can I become the best packaging in terms of my titles and my thumbnails so that people can become drawn and attracted to my content, which will inevitably increase my viewership? Thinking like a beginner. The other thing that I have been doing to avoid burnout is not powering through when things are failing or when things are not working out, because there's potentially a reason why things are not going the way that I want them to, right? Sometimes it's okay to just stop and take a breather, reflect, and then reset. Because if you keep on doing the same thing over and over and over and over again and not getting any results, you're going to become frustrated and you're going to burn out, and then you're going to quit, okay? There's always two reasons as to why you're failing. This is when you're actually being productive and doing the things to achieve your goals. The first thing is that you're doing something wrong. You need to again stop, reflect, and identify what the problem is and try something different, okay? If this strategy is not working, there's no point beating a dead horse, being stubborn in the hope that things are going to work themselves out, okay? Try something else. Even if that doesn't work, maybe give it 3 months or 6 months. If it's not working, try something else until you find something that actually works. The other reason is that it's not your season. Maybe that's not how you're supposed to become successful. Maybe you shouldn't be starting this business, or maybe it's just not the right time. There's going to be up seasons and down seasons, so it's important to identify if you're in your down season or bad season to just rest, to be still, because it's not every day that you need to be productive and, you know, have your foot on the gas pedal. Sometimes it's important to just sit back and relax and be in cruise control. There is power in staying still because there's something that you need to learn from that stillness. The other thing that I have been doing and loving to avoid burnout is overcompensating my rewards in the beginner stage, because when I start actually achieving my goals, I notice that there's little to no progress at the beginning stage, okay? I'm not losing that much weight. I'm probably not gaining as many subscribers in the beginning that I would want to, okay? And naturally, you can feel disheartened and deflated that I'm doing all this work and I probably have little to nothing to show for it. But actually, you need to be focusing more on rewarding yourself for actually doing the things to achieve your goals, right? In the beginner stage, I'm recognizing and also rewarding myself for uploading 2 long form videos a week, for uploading daily YouTube shorts, for sending out a weekly newsletter, for engaging on my community tab, and also uploading daily on my TikTok, and fasting 3 days a week to lose weight, you know, doing keto, trying to do keto, and then also doing the weekly dance challenge to lose weight, right? So when I'm able to do all these things, I do little things for myself just to reward myself, like going to Costa to buy a hazelnut latte, because that is a non-negotiable luxury for me, okay? I might have a day where I'll come back and have a lie-in after I've dropped my daughter off to nursery, instead of just coming back and being busy all over again. Just little and simple things just to congratulate myself and reward myself for actually trying, right? Because we all know how hard it is to even start, let alone continue doing the things, right? So focusing less on the result in the beginner stage, right, helps to avoid burnout by creating that positive reinforcement. Because now I look forward to like my weekly treats. I look forward to thinking, how else can I treat myself? How else can I reward myself, you know, and just congratulate myself for doing the damn thing. The other way that I have been avoiding burnout actually comes naturally to me, and that's saying no. Okay, not overextending myself by accepting invitations for things that I just don't have the energy to do, to be honest with you, or even the time. And just being honest with people when I'm just too tired and exhausted to show up for them and to be there for them and to help them. Because innately, I do want to be there for people. I do want to help people, but there's only so much that I can do. There's only 24 hours in a day, chat, okay? So just maintaining those boundaries and not overextending myself. You know the drill by now. Let me know in the comments one thing that you're going to take away so you can avoid burnout, and also let us know other tips and strategies that you might have that we can all learn from if you come all this way. Thank you so much. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, press that notification bell so you are notified every single time I upload a video, and make sure you watch this video here about how to find your people and make friends as an adult. I will see you in an upcoming video. Mwah. Bye, lovelies.